Hello, North Shelby Library and Mount Laurel Library. Hope everyone is well and that you've been reading lots and lots, and that you've also done some interesting science experiments. Perhaps you've gone on a nature walk and found something really cool. Well, this week's science snippet is going to be a laughing liquid lab. So we're going to have some fun with liquids. So let's get to it. Now for an experiment that you really can't do at home. Just because you can't do it at home doesn't mean that it's not great to watch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a liquid. The liquid that I'm using is super, super cold. It's 321 degrees below zero. Give you an idea how cold it is. Water freezes at 32 degrees. This liquid is 321 degrees below zero. And just like water, when you put it in the freezer, it changes to a solid. Well, this particular liquid started out as a gas. That gas is called nitrogen. Every time you exhale, you make carbon dioxide, but when you breathe in air. And air is actually 78% nitrogen. So it's around you right now. Take that nitrogen, freeze it to 321 degrees below zero, and it will turn into a super cold liquid called liquid nitrogen. So a couple of experiments that I want to show you is I am going to try to slow down the molecules. Matter is everything, anything that has weight and takes up space, and matter is made of teeny tiny things called molecules. What I want to do is take some fast-moving gas molecules that are in a balloon, and I want to slow them down by freezing them in liquid nitrogen. Let's see what happens. Then when I get finished with that, I think I'm going to take some hot water and pour some liquid nitrogen in it. See what happens when that really difference in temperature, warm water to hot water with super cold 321 degrees below zero liquid. Let's see what happens when they collide. When we add a balloon to such a cold liquid. As the balloon freezes, the average kinetic energy of the gas molecules in the balloon will decrease as the temperature goes down. The molecules now move more slowly and have less frequent and weaker collisions inside the walls of the balloon, causing the balloon to shrink. Take the balloon out of the liquid nitrogen, and the average kinetic energy of the gas molecules increases as the temperature goes up, making the balloon grow back to the same size as when we started. Okay, for this first experiment, what you're going to need is, I have a pie plate and it's filled with water. You could use a bowl or you could use a baking dish, anything where you can kind of spread the water out and keep it contained. So you definitely, you don't just want to like pour it on the table. That would be good. All right, what I also have is a toothpick. If you don't have a toothpick, you can always use the end of your pinky finger. That will be fine too. And I have some pepper right here, and I have some dish soap. So what we're going to do with these items is we're going to test out water's surface tension and see if we can't break it up. So all liquids have what's known as a thin skin. It's called surface tension. And soap is perfect for breaking up the surface tension of water. So you know, if your chore for the week or whatever is to do the dishes, that if you have some kind of gunky, greasy water, you can put the soap in there and it's going to break that up. Makes it perfect for this experiment. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my pepper and I'm going to put a whole bunch here in the pie pan. And then I'm going to stick either my pinky finger or the Q-tip in the soap, and then we're going to see what happens. All right, let's test it out. All right, for this next experiment, I'm going to use a pop bottle test tube. You can also test it out in a bottle if you need to, but this is a very cool way to do it. All right, so I am going to take a little bit. I have baby oil, but you can also use vegetable oil. That's fine too. So I'm going to take some baby oil, and I'm going to fill this here a little over halfway. There we go. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to put a little bit of water inside. So we'll go ahead and add our water. There we go. All right, and now what I want to do is I'm going to add a few drops of food coloring. I have red, so we'll add, let's do 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so interestingly enough, the food coloring is just kind of sitting there. It went through the oil and it's just sort of sitting on the top of the water now. Well, the thing about liquids, even though they're all liquids, not all of them will mix together. And when liquids won't mix, that's called immiscibility. And oil and water are a perfect example of this. So let me put my lid on here. Okay, there we go. And what I'm going to do is turn upside down. And then again. So the food coloring has mixed with the water, but it won't mix with the oil. So it makes a very cool liquid lab sensory tube. Check it out. All right, on to our next one. All right, so let's make a soap-powered boat. For that, I'm using a baking pan, just so I have a lot of distance for my soap boat to travel. I have a foam tray, I have a pen, and I have scissors, and then I have soap. Again, you can use a toothpick, you can use the end of your finger. But what you want to do is you want to draw a boat onto your foam tray. You don't want to make it too big, like 2 inches is probably the best for this. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get to it.